I needed to get away, to clear my head. You know how it is, life gets loud, and the only solution feels like finding somewhere even quieter. So, I went hiking. Alone, deep into the woods where the trees are so thick they block out the sun, and your phone becomes nothing more than a useless little brick in your pocket. No signal, no people. Just me and the crunch of leaves under my boots. Locals have a name for a spot out there, Whisper Hollow. It's an old crumbling rock tunnel, probably for some long-forgotten mining railway. The story goes that the echoes inside are wrong. They don't just repeat what you say, they twist it, or so they say. I always figured it was just a local legend, a campfire story to spook tourists. But that day I was drawn to it. The entrance was a dark, gaping mouth in the side of a mossy hill, cool air breathing out of it. Curiosity got the better of me. I stepped inside, the sudden drop in temperature making the hairs on my arms stand up. The air was heavy, damp, smelling of wet stone and something else. Something old. I took a few steps into the darkness, my footsteps sounding unnaturally loud in the silence. Just to test it, to hear the famous echo, I spoke softly. My voice felt small. Hello, Silencer. For a long, long moment, there was nothing. Then the echo came back, but it was late, way too late for a natural echo. And the voice, it wasn't quite mine. It was a whisper, a dry rustle of sound from the depths of the tunnel. And it didn't say hello, it said, "You're afraid she'd find out." My heart just stopped cold. I froze, every muscle in my body tensing. Find out what? The thought was a spike of ice in my gut. It was a secret, a heavy one I carried every single day. A fear I never even admitted to myself, let alone anyone else. I hadn't said that. I hadn't even thought it, not consciously. It had to be the wind. My imagination playing tricks on me in the dark. I let out a shaky, nervous laugh that didn't sound like my own. Right, I muttered, trying to sound brave. I decided to push on, walk a little deeper into the tunnel. I told myself I was being ridiculous, letting a stupid ghost story get to me. To prove it, I tried again, forcing a confident tone. "This is stupid." The reply was almost instant, closer this time. The same dry, sibilant whisper, seeming to curl around me from all directions at once. "You think about leaving every night." My breath hitched in my throat. My chest tightened until it felt like a band of steel was crushing my ribs. That was true. That was a thought that haunted me in the quiet moments before sleep, a dark fantasy of just packing a bag and disappearing. A thought I never, ever voiced, not even in the privacy of my own mind. How could it know that? The tunnel suddenly felt 100 times longer. The darkness ahead absolute and impenetrable. The small circle of light from my phone's flashlight, which had seemed so bright just a moment ago, now looked pathetic, flickering as if the battery was about to die. Panic started to bubble up from my stomach. I whispered, my voice trembling uncontrollably, "Who's there?" This time, there was no delay. The echo was immediate, right beside me, as if someone was leaning in to speak directly into my ear. The whisper was intimate, terrifying. "You're scared you're already too broken to fix." That was it. That was the one that broke me. It was the deepest, ugliest fear I had, that the cracks inside me had grown too deep, that I was fundamentally damaged beyond repair. My legs started to shake so violently I could barely stand. The flight instinct took over completely. I had to get out. I turned and ran, my feet slipping on the slick, uneven stone floor. I scrambled toward the entrance, toward the light that now seemed impossibly far away. But the tunnel echoed with the sound of my frantic escape. Footsteps, and they were right behind me, perfectly in sync with mine. Thump thump, thump thump, a perfect, terrifying mirror of my own panic. I forced myself to stop, planting my feet, my whole body trembling. The footsteps stopped too. The silence that followed was deafening, charged with a horrifying stillness. I could barely get the word out, my voice a cracked, pathetic whimper. "Please." The whisper came again, not from the walls this time. It felt like it was right against my ear, a puff of cold air against my skin. "Say it out loud." It coaxed, its tone almost gentle, almost seductive. "Let me keep it." And then nothing. The tunnel went completely silent. The echo was gone. The wind died down. There was only the sound of my own ragged breathing and the frantic drumming of my heart. But just as a wave of relief started to wash over me, one final whisper echoed, not from the walls of the tunnel, but from the inside of my own head. "Clear as day," it said. "Now I know everything. I don't remember how I got out. I just remember stumbling, falling, crawling out of that darkness and into the fading light of the setting sun. The orange sky felt alien, wrong. I collapsed onto the damp earth, gasping for air that felt clean, real. After a few minutes, my phone, which I'd been clutching in a death grip, buzzed in my hand. A notification. It was from my voice memo app. A new recording had been saved. The timestamp showed it was created during the time I was on the hike. Inside that tunnel, my hands were shaking so badly I could barely press the screen. With a sense of absolute dread, I hit play. It was my voice, but it wasn't a normal recording. It was a confession. A long, rambling, tear-filled monologue. My voice, speaking every single secret, every dark thought, every hidden fear I have ever had in my entire life. All the things the echo had whispered, and so much more, all laid bare in a single, horrifying audio file. The tunnel hadn't just echoed my fears, it had taken them. And now, I have to live with the knowledge that they're out there, and I have to listen to them, over and over again, in my own voice. Thanks for listening to my story. If you've ever had a strange or unexplainable experience out in the wilderness, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more tales from the dark. Stay safe out there.